At the time, Superman was the most expensive movie ever made. After a long dispute with the rights, 2 films were signed off and were both going to be shot at the same time. Steven Spielberg was approached to direct, but he was busy with Close Encounters, so George Lucas was then offered the job, before he instead took on Star Wars, and then Richard Donner fell into the position. With big names such as Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman on board, Donner decided to film all of their scenes first before they were no longer available. Brando only had 12 days to shoot all of his scenes, but many of his castmates were unhappy with him. Brando had a reputation of being lazy on set. He refused to memorize the script and used cue cards the entire time. Even this shot right here, he is reading his lines off of the baby's nappy. Christopher Reeve claimed that Brando just didn't care about the project and only did it for the money. Sometimes he would even ask the director to record the rehearsals and then demand that they use those takes instead so he wouldn't have to do the scene again. In fact, Brando allegedly did claim that there's no way of knowing what the people of Krypton actually looked like. So he requested they all be green suitcases or bagels, with him doing a voiceover to ensure that he was given even less work.
What more could anyone ask?
To his credit, it was Brando's idea to have the Kryptonians wear an S on their chest as a family crest, which would later be used in the comics and further film adaptations, so I guess he did contribute something.
So that's it.
It does have a bizarre opening, almost immediately breaking the fourth wall as a kid reads a comic book.
Even the great city of Metropolis was not spared the ravages of the worldwide depression.
And then we took the idea of the comics, made it a massive success, and completely ruined the lives of the original creators.
No.
The opening credits last an eternity, but you know what? I can let it slide because it is the greatest theme song ever composed in the history of ever. Fight me. Marlon Brando plays Jor-El, a scientist. He finds these 3 guilty because apparently scientists are also the jury and executioner, and traps them in the Phantom Zone for their crimes, all to set up the sequel while Zod, played by Terrence Stamp, threatens revenge on his ancestors and anyone who shits on his performance in the Star Wars prequels. But why can't Marlon Brando actually pronounce Krypton correctly?
Krypton. I tell you, Krypton is simply shifting its orbit.
Oh, is it just people from Krypton who can't say it right then?
I come from a planet called Krypton.
So why did they keep saying it wrong? In fact, the pronunciations in this movie are just all over the place.
Mr. Luthor.
I don't need a geography lesson from you, Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
One issue I have with the movie is that it seems to have Harry Potteritis, where it just banks on you having read the comic books. Jor-El is convinced that Krypton is about to explode, and everyone thinks he's crazy. Why does he think Krypton is going to explode? Not important. He has a green crystal that should be kryptonite, but isn't for some reason. What is it? What does it do? Not important. Clark later gets it and throws it in the North Pole, and it somehow builds the Fortress of Solitude. How? Not important. So Jor-El and his wife send their baby son Kal-El to Earth to keep him safe. To be fair, despite being a fun, family-friendly kids superhero film, the destruction looks great. It's really graphic and has amazing visuals despite its time and limitations. There's more in the extended version, but it's still fantastic looking in the theatrical cut. During his pod ride to Earth, I guess Jor-El recorded countless hours of homeschooling information for his son to learn on the way. That was nice of him, but when did he find the time to do that before their planet exploded? In fact, later on he becomes a hologram that somehow is pre-programmed to answer absolutely any response and question that Superman has. When did he have the time to record all of these?
I knew this time would come.
Oh well, he crashes down to Smallville to be found by Mr. and Mrs. Kent, who aren't really that surprised to find a young boy from outer space. They're even down to kidnap him.
The first thing we gotta do when we get home is find out who that boy's proper family is.
He hasn't got any.
Have you even checked? Once he's a teenager, he decides to race a train in broad daylight and hope that nobody notices, except Lois Lane, who's somehow about 12 and will just magically end up being the same age as Clark in a few years.
You are here for a reason. I don't know whose reason, whatever the reason is, you know.
Is it just me, or does it take them way too long to figure out, hey, you've got superpowers, maybe you can use these to help people? But his dad has a heart attack, so in 31 minutes he's lost his birth parents, his home planet, his girlfriend, and his adopted dad. A happy family film! Alright, it is a well done moment as Clark realises he has all of these abilities but is unable to stop natural causes. They're beyond his control. It's a nice wake up call after showing off all of his powers. And this just means, just after his dad dies, he decides to abandon his grieving mother and leave town town. Our hero! The thing is, we never actually see Clark discovering that he can fly yet, or he's just not able to at this point. So apparently he just walks from Smallville all the way to the goddamn North Pole, which is nearly 3,000 miles away. And it doesn't even look like he's using his super speed. Damn, dude is dedicated.
It's suicide!
And this is where he finds the Fortress of Solitude to talk to the overpaid douchebag.
By now you will have reached your 18th year, as it is measured on Earth.
How would he know that? What if he found it before his 18th birthday? Or after?
By that reckoning, I will have been dead for many thousands of your years.
Thousands of human years have passed since Krypton exploded. So how the hell did Jor-El know who Einstein is?
Which Einstein called his theory of relativity.
As an adult, we meet Jimmy Olsen, the photographer, played by Mark McClure, and Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder. The thing is, I have no idea how Lois even got a job as a reporter to begin with. First off, she struggles to spell some of the most basic words.
How many T's in bloodletting? How do you spell massacre?
There's only one P in rapist. There's no Z in Brazil.
But not only that, later on she interviews Superman and completely hits on him.
And how big are you? How tall are you? I assume then that the rest of your bodily functions are normal?
Yes, I have jokes that went completely over your head as a child. Yes, yes, going once, going twice, sold for absolutely nothing, ruining your childhood.
What color underwear am I wearing?
Who hired this woman? She can't spell and she's talking about her underwear to her first interviewee. Control yourself, have some respect.
Do you like pink?
Somebody fire her, horny little pervert. Hell, later on, Lois starts interviewing a guy whilst driving and nearly crashes. Someone get this woman a new job. He also reveals in this interview that he can't see through lead. Why would you give that away? Superman and Clark are played by the late great Christopher Reeve, and I never understood why nobody ever imitated his performance again. As Clark, he would deliberately act as socially awkward and clumsy as possible so that nobody would suspect that he's Superman. Perry White asks him to open up a bottle and he pretends he can't do it, so Lois has to do it for him. Why has nobody else ever tried this? Would you really be surprised if this turned out to be a superhero?
Sorry, I didn't mean to shake it up like that.
Oh, well, of course not, Lois. I mean, why would anyone want to make a total stranger look like a fool?
He's so cringy. His disguise is foolproof.
Supposing that man had shot you. Is it worth risking your life over $10, 2 credit cards, a hairbrush, and a lipstick?
Almost.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, some investigators are trying to hunt down Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman, and they start to tail his sidekick Otis, played by Ned Beatty. They manage to track him down to the subway where they brutally murder one of them because he was too dumb to wait for backup. A happy family film!
Not really, no.
I know it's not the issue, but all I can wonder is how the hell Lex is even able to hide out here with this kind of electricity bill. Admittedly, it is a cliche now to have a genius accompanied by 2 bumbling idiots, but this really set the standard. Hackman does a great job as Lex, and Beatty embodies the dumbass role. These 3 have great chemistry, and I must say, this film's casting is some of the best I have ever seen. Just a reminder that Arnold Schwarzenegger campaigned to play Superman.
Oh, no. That would be too obvious. I grant you.
But as great as Gene Hackman is, in this version, Lex is one of the dumbest super geniuses ever written. Okay, so after Superman shows up, Lex somehow figures out that meteorites from Krypton should kill him, and he finds a meteorite that he somehow knows happens to be from Krypton and wants to use it to kill him.
Given the exact location of the galaxy that he mentions.
He never mentioned a location.
In the interview, he says that the planet Krypton exploded in 1948.
1, he never said that, and 2,
I will have been dead for many thousands of your years.
1948 was thousands of years ago, cool. But his motivations here are a bit off. Why does he even want to kill Superman? Nothing is explicitly said, but I'm guessing it's just so he doesn't interfere with his plans. You see, he wants to blow up parts of California to make room for his own land, but Metropolis is on the other side of the country. Superman would literally have no idea that California is under attack until it's too late. Lex literally contacts Superman, tells him where he's hiding. How does he even figure out to use the dog frequency thing to speak just to Superman? Then details his entire plan to him, tells him where 2 missiles are going. Literally, the only reason that Superman actually stops this plan from happening is because Lex told him about it. Anyway, Clark quickly gains a thing for Lois, but this is just a reminder of why I'm not that invested in this relationship. Lois just isn't interested in Clark until she finds out that he's a superhero. And even then, she only seems to want the hero.
Yeah, goodness, don't you ever let up?
So Lois gets into this helicopter for some story and immediately goes to hell and crashes on the roof. This is really out of nowhere. I know Superman got a Superman, but it's so rushed for him to make his first appearance. He also takes an awfully long time to change considering Lois is in imminent danger.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
But I can't lie, this moment is fucking amazing. It's magical, it's charming, it still gives me goosebumps. The effects get gradually worse the more the franchise progresses, but here you genuinely believe that this is Superman saving Lois Lane. It all looks so real. I have no idea how Batman 1989 is in the 1001 movies, but this isn't. This sets so many standards for superhero films, it's unreal. It is a bit weird though that everybody is cheering, but nobody seems at all freaked out that a man is flying and single-handedly lifting a fucking helicopter in the air. We get a montage of Superman going around saving people and catching criminals, but some cops at the station aren't even aware of him yet. How? Surely it'd be all over the news. How? So many reporters were on the scene for the helicopter incident. He even saves a damn cat from a tree. My god, they ticked all the numbers.
This man swooped out of the sky and gave him to me. Haven't I told you to stop telling lies?
Wait, did she just slap her daughter?
Haven't I told you to stop telling lies?
The 70s were a different time. So Lois gets a note from Superman to be interviewed. She doesn't question how the hell he knows where she lives for some reason. Clark shows up to her apartment later, so I guess she gave him her address, but she doesn't question Supes. The thing is, Batman fights crime for justice because his parents were murdered. Superman fights crime just because it's the right thing to do. Fair enough, but that just doesn't make for a very interesting story in my opinion.
Lois? I never lie.
Except for all the times you lied and pretended that you're not Clark Kent.
Lark, who's that, your boyfriend?
So he takes Lois for a fly, and it is a really sweet and charming moment. I do wonder how he's able to hold her entire body weight with just his fingertips, but oh well. She thinks to herself how much she loves him, and it is really charming, despite my disliking of the relationship. Originally, it was going to be a musical number, but I am so glad they changed it. But hey, it just so happens that Lois and Jimmy also happen to be in California at the exact same time this is all going down.
Yes, Superman, double jeopardy. Even you, with your great speed, couldn't stop both of them.
That's a lie, isn't it? Like the infamous ending, he clearly is able to stop 2 missiles in about 5 seconds. Lex tricks Superman into opening a lead-cased chest of kryptonite. I mean, surely he could just close it again, right? I mean, he wouldn't be touching it. Also, if he's so confident that Superman can't stop both missiles at the same time, why even bother with the kryptonite? Isn't that just kind of overkill?
Why? You ask why?
Oh well, Lex's other sidekick helps Superman but makes him promise to stop the second missile first as her mother lives there, and of course he never lies. Why would Lex even trust her again in the sequel after this? Oh well, she then kisses Superman while he's unconscious. What the hell? Sexual assault at its finest.
Why did you kiss me first?
I didn't think you'd let me later.
Still sexual assault.
How do you figure that?
So the missile hits California and an earthquake begins. Weirdly, Superman struggles to stop the missile due to the heat from it, but then he can easily fly through the Earth's core amidst fucking lava with no problem. A dam gives way with Jimmy on it, but he's an idiot who still stops to try to take pictures until Superman saves his dumbass. Then the Earth opens up and crushes Lois. Jesus Christ, this is dark! It is a really cool element to the story though. Superman chose to stick to his word and stop the other missile first, and it was that decision that led to his girlfriend now dying. But of course, he then turns the world backwards to reverse time, and this is beyond stupid. Firstly, it wouldn't reverse time. That's really not how it works. Surely he's actually murdering more people by doing this. How many natural disasters is he causing by interfering like this? Secondly, why not reverse time to save your dad or your planet? Why not do this in any of the sequels? Stop Zod being released. Stop any of the bad shit happening. It makes no sense. This ending was heavily criticised, and Richard Donner did actually want the second movie's ending to do it again. It's stupid. In fact, him reversing time heals the dam, so it never collapsed. But Jimmy then shows up and still thanks Superman for saving him.
Thanks a lot, Superman. You put me on a road in the middle of nowhere during an earthquake.
But In this timeline, he would have never saved him. Oh well, it is emotional as he's doing it out of so much anger, passion and emotion while he ignores the warning of the Kryptonians. He decided that his father died and he's not going to let it happen again. But because he reversed time, shouldn't there now be 2 Supermen around?
You know what happened to me while you were off flying around? I was almost in an earthquake.
So she mentions the earthquake, but why isn't the earthquake happening right now? He reversed time. He hasn't stopped the second one yet either. What's going on?
It's too bad Mr. Kent wasn't here to see all this.
Yeah, poor Clark. Never around when... Clark, wait a minute.
What?
Lois Lane, that is the silliest idea you've ever...
Look, I will be the first to point out the stupidity that nobody realises that Clark Kent is Superman, but again, Metropolis is on the other side of the country. Superman being there, and Clark not, isn't that suspicious? Especially considering Superman's only been around a few times. You've only seen him, 2 or 3 times at this point without Clark? The movie is great. Sometimes they do rely on you reading the comics, but it isn't entirely necessary to enjoy the story. It's a great origin story with great characters and charming performances. Superman is a classic, and definitely a movie that should be watched by all.